And we're live. This is patching at 3 a.m. and took a little bit longer break than I expected, but I am glad to be talking about synths again, and thank you all for joining us. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the synthesizers that I use live, not necessarily all together, but sometimes. The occasion of talking about this stuff is that I'll be playing some more shows coming up, starting on May 24th, which is a Sunday. It will be the electronic music night at Old Town Pub, put on by our good friend Kyle Humongous Frog from the LA Synth Club. It's going to be a great night. There's quite a few good acts they're going to be playing that night, and we're going to have a good time. I want to say thank you, as always, to the LA Synth Club, to Lenny, Consilla, and all those guys. Also to SoCal Synth Society, Travarsi and her crew. Let's talk about some synths. I'm gonna start here with changing the camera angle. I've got my Surge modular here, or a small part of it. If you've seen me perform live, you may have seen this system before. It's old paper face panel, some random source 4x4 modules with banana jacks, a banana jack to 1/8 inch jack converter panel that I've created with some utilities. There's like a clock divider here. There's also some trunk lines to get signals from my analog 4 CV, also to send audio out to the rest of the world. Let's hear what's going on on this thing. This is a simple little sequence. It sounds simple anyway. I have a cycling envelope generator that is letting signals through to a filter, and then VCA and out to the rest of the world. This sequence is pitched for me, and I can hold on stages, so it kind of will stay on one. I can do other things, like I can patch gates and things into the stage inputs, so I can get it to jump and skip around to other positions, and that's a lot of fun. So that's the one aspect of the control of this patch, is the sequencer down here. My signals get routed, CV signals that control pitch and things like that, through this, what I'm using is a matrix mixer, and it has presets, so I can change settings for that sequence. I can change timing, I can change pitch, so if I hold this, it'll switch to a mode where I can control the octave range for this sound. Let's see, I can adjust the envelope timing here as well. You can hear it's a pretty messed up kind of almost glitchy sound. And I have a few different flavors of sound that I can use in this voice, and that's controlled up here. So if I, so I'm just gonna leave this channel turned up, and that is the wavetable piston Honda oscillator. The sound of that with an LFO that's swooping through that sound. And then I'll turn that down and turn this one up. And this is a kind of chaotic patch that starts with an output from the new timbral oscillator, and it goes into the wave multipliers. The output of the wave multipliers then go to the mixer, but are also fed back through a universal slope generator stage and back into the wave filter. And you can get some really kind of weird, chaotic sounds with this patch, almost kind of vocal at some points. Just like weird feedback interactions. All right. And then I have some more kind of normal sounding channels. One that's like sync, and one that's just kind of a variable wave shape. I can also send some portamento to the oscillator. Sounds a lot better with some reverb delay. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Little MS-20 style low pass filter from the IntelliGel Morgasmatron. So that's just one voice of the stuff that I've got going on this panel. So I'm gonna mix in another voice. And as you have probably already heard, this is like a super chaotic patch. This is just a pure feedback patch between the triple wave shaper, the NCOM, and another channel of the Morgasmatron filter. They are in a circular patch, but then signal is also routed out to one of the DTG envelope generators, or envelope followers in this case, on the carnivore panel, and then back into the wave folder by way of CV. And so it's one of these chaotic feedback patches that's kind of self-controlling and self-driving. And if I stop talking for a second, you can hear how there's almost kind of a pattern to how the sound evolves. Anyway, it's a really dynamic patch. You can get it to do a lot of really weird stuff, and lots of fun. I have that running through kind of a glitchy pitch shifter on the Empress Zoya back there. We'll talk about that some more in a minute. Here it is without that effect. I just love all the weird little trills and spits and things that that this kind of patch does. Hey Vert, and hey Marcus. Yeah, some really, really cool sounds out of that. So, okay. Enough with challenging sounds. So another classic surge patch is, of course, pinging a variable Q VCF. And in this case, I'm using the arpeggiator on my analog 4 to trigger to produce a stream of gates for the variable Q VCF so that I can kind of play it. It's a little louder than I expected. But you know, this gives me the ability to change the timing of the gates. Let's see, I can, on here, I can add some randomization to that sequence. Let's see, I can press that and then take some signal. And now it'll kind of randomize the pitch a little bit. And I can change the degree to which that pitch gets randomized. And then it's back to normal. And so, in effect, you know, it's like I'm sending CV and I'm sending gates to to the modular, but it's just using the CV as kind of like an array of values that can be applied to pitch. You know, it'll get sampled, it'll get rearranged so that I can, you know, kind of play the sequence more like an instrument than just you know, something that's static, you know, and that's what I'm always looking for, is something where it's very interactive. So that's the Surge modular and the accompanying Eurorack modules. You know, I'll frequently play with the system on its own without the Octatrack and Analog 4 and without all the rest of this stuff. And in fact, I was going to talk a little bit about scalability here, because clearly, you know, this is a lot of stuff to try to gig with. You know, the show that I'll be playing, the electronic music show at Old Town Pub, is probably going to consist of not all of these things, but you know, what I often do is I grab little samples here and there of these things, put them into the Octatrack, then I can play them back as part of a bigger composition, or I can just do a simple modular kind of improvisation using some of the concepts that I just talked about. It can be a lot of fun to use the whole rig all at once. I mean, I guess it kind of looks neat, but you know, I found ways to get a lot out of, you know, different segments of the system. So anyway, I'll talk a little bit about the stuff over here. And I am going to be in the way with this camera angle, I think. So let's see. My headphones keep cutting out, and it sucks. Oh, I was also going to mention, you know, sometimes when I'm using a more cut down system, I'll use this here IntelliGel Cascadia in place of the big Surge modular. I can cover a lot of the same sounds with that little synth, but you know, of course, it's a lot of fun to play with a big modular system like that. And you know, if I'm in a situation where I can't use the big Soundcraft mixer, I've got this little, I don't know if you can see, Key Largo from Radial Engineering that has 3 stereo channels and nice balanced inputs and outputs, and it's a DI box and all that. And talking about audio nerd stuff when I should be talking about synthesizers, jeez. Let's see if I can get a closer look at these synthesizers that are in front of me. Really awkward to do this. I should have had the camera set up ahead of time, but you get what you pay for, guys. Hey Justin, what's your preferred Clockmaster Live? Yeah, the audio, the master clock right now is the Octatrack, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Back to synth nerd stuff. So here I have a Coco Quantus 2, and I have Empress Zoya. I have a keyed Moss Tone from Lore Mill, and interesting little MIDI controller, not from Nectar. Typically, I would be using a panorama P1, much like this one, but that's being used to control the session and doesn't fit well on this pedal board. So I'm using this Oxy E16, which is actually I enjoy using it a lot. It's a really cool piece of kit, and that's connected via MIDI to Zoya and a number of other things. I'll talk about the MIDI setup later. Let's do sounds. Okay, so this is Sidrax organ from Chiat Lombard, same people who make the Coco Quantus 2, and it's just a really delightfully kind of expressive instrument to play, based on piezos. Each one of these bars has a piezo, and you can tap it to get kind of a short percussive sound, or you can kind of caress it and get more gentle sounds. And so there's a master tune that I'm not going to touch, and there's an individual fine tune for each of the bars, which I'm also not going to touch. So you can tune each voice individually, and you also have this global chaos control. And you can do some really neat stuff just by playing it, and without you see these patch cables, they're not actually doing anything right now. They're just kind of molting inputs together so that when I eventually do send CV to them, they're going all to the right places. The green and blue banana jacks are inputs. The orange and red banana jacks are outputs, and the gray banana jacks are controlling the global pitch and the global chaos. That is as far as I have been able to glean so far. I have been not reading any kind of manual or instructions about this thing on purpose because I kind of wanted to explore it on my own. So I'm going to take a random modulation source and connect it to one of some of the first three voices. So let's hear what that sounds like. Sounds like it's messing with the pitch. Interesting. Gets kind of haunted sounding. All right. And on this side, I have the cables connected to green jacks. On this side, I had them connected to blue jacks. Let's see what it does when I connect something to green jacks. Ooh, that sounds more like the chaos. So it sounds like these jacks are kind of controlling some aspect of the chaos. Maybe it would be cool to kind of grab some of this. So the Coco Quantus is sampling the output from the Sidrax, and it's each channel has a different length. So the outputs of the Sidrax are weird. The right output is supposed to be the attack phase of its envelope, and the right side is supposed to be the decay phase. But on some channels, it's reversed. And so you get these weird, if you were to actually patch it left and right, you would get these weird kind of panning effects as it got louder and got quieter. I have both channels connected to an individual channel on the Cocoquantus, and then both of the channels on the Cocoquantus are summed to mono on the mixer, so you're not hearing that weird left-right relationship, but it allows me to do some kind of weird timing relationship stuff by having loops that run at different lengths. Anyway, so I can maybe cut that up a little bit. I'm using a random modulation generator to randomly tell the samplers to restart at the beginning. Let's maybe overdub something on top of that. Maybe add some weird pitch modulation. And since they're piezos, they pick up all sorts of stuff, you know. Which means that there's like a lot of different ways you can kind of play it. Really super expressive. I've been having a lot of fun with this thing. So things get really fun. So I can, let me turn this down. I'm gonna send some of the signal from this to Zoya, and I'm gonna So now with Zoya, I have sampled just a little bit of what I just did there, and it's looping. And I can send some of that to my glitchy pitch shifter. Drenched in reverb, of course. And I can set the loop points. Move the start position. Now it's just the loop here. also adjust the pitch downwards. That's just the way I have it set up. You could pitch it upwards. I don't have it set up for that. Yeah, so a lot of fun there. You know, I could add some feedback to that glitchy pitch shifting delay. I can change the grain size. The density. How much pitch shifting, rate of LFO that affects the pitch shifting. A lot of fun to be had there. And there's also a second channel of looping on here. So if I hold this button, I can go to a different page, and I can start. So I can have two loops going now that are asynchronous, so they'll kind of drift in and out of each other, and you know, that sounds really nice. I could just kind of leave it doing this kind of stuff for a long time. Some nice textures and things. There's also this little guy, the keyed moss tone. I'll come, let's see, mute this and that, and so the keyed moss tone is a really simple monophonic synth, and I typically keep it kind of unpatched like this, and patch as I go along if I want to. You know, sometimes I'll kind of sample a loop of something like this. You know, it's I think it sounds pretty beefy in the low range, pretty cool. But it can do a lot of stuff. So, for instance, I'm gonna connect this output both to the envelope rate and to, let's see, do I have another shorty? Yeah, I've gonna patch that same random to an inverter, and patch that inverter to the pitch, and adjust this a little bit. So now you get random changes in pitch and in envelope rate. Let's see here. I could also connect something here. Let's see what that. Yeah, and then let's see here. Send some of that to. No, that's not the right channel. I haven't labeled these channels yet. Just flying blind here. So effectively, this bar makes the envelope repeat. This bar triggers a track and hold and a sample and hold. I'm going to change this patch up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, not to the glitch. break. Let's go to the delay. Yeah, that sounds. Get some of these kind of weird, chaotic sounds coming out of this thing that started, much simpler. It'd be easier to control this if I were on the other side of it, but it can get really chaotic, really easily. And for me, this is the ideal synth for live patching because. It's always going to do something interesting. You're never going to get in a situation where it's like, oh, I patched it to the wrong input and I don't know where I'm at anymore. I generally try to avoid live patching just because of some nightmares that I've gotten into in the past. But it's still fun. So, but the way I tend to do it is I kind of have scripted patches where as you saw, I have these already connected to CV outputs, and I just need to connect them to inputs that I already have set up, and that makes it pretty foolproof, even though these particular synthesizers don't really have labels for any of their inputs and outputs. I've just become accustomed to the colors and the hieroglyphics, or what have you. I know some people have strong feelings about cryptic gear that is not very explanatory. It's all cool stuff. It all makes neat sounds. I don't really have a dog in that fight. Anyway, let me change camera angle. Let's see. Can I? Yeah. Okay. So the mixer that I've been kind of alluding to and doing a lot of the routing that I've been talking about with. This is a Soundcraft GB2R 12-2 mixer. It is 12 mono channels, 2 stereo channels, and a stereo bus. I would typically have all of my channels and all of my sends. There are 6 sends, 4 of which can be, 4 of which are post fader, 2 of which can be switched between pre and post, and 1 or 2 that are pre fader. A nice 4-band EQ with sweepable low and high mids. That's really nice to have, so I can get rid of the mud in the low mids for some things. Like these things in particular kind of get a little bit muddy in that range. Maybe give a little bit of the high end a boost in some places. The EQs on this thing sound really nice. I have 2 mono channels coming from the Analog 4. I don't use it in stereo. One side is the bass, and one side is usually a polyphonic patch that I use, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So I have one of the outputs on the Octatrack dedicated to the kick, another output dedicated to the snare. The bass, the kick, and the snare are all routed to the bus, which goes through this analog heat signal processor. It's not doing a lot now other than giving a little bit of oomph to those sounds, and doing some dynamic weirdness, but I'll play around a lot with that during a performance. I'll route things to the sub so that I can use the filter on that thing to filter things out, of course. So then I have I have a stereo pair coming from the Octatrack, and I used some molding to mate a pair of faders together for these two channels because I still like to be able to use the sends left and right independently, the EQ left and right independently. There are benefits to using two mono channels instead of a stereo channel. For the stereo channels, I just use as returns, and the benefit of that is that I can use them in feedback loops. So if I send the delay back into itself, I have this muted, so that's not going there. It's not going to the delay. You know, and I can get runaway feedback really easily that way. But it's even more fun when, oh, I gotta switch back to the first page here. It's more fun when I create a matrix of feedback. So I will send the delay to Zoya, and then I'll send Zoya to the delay, and it'll start running away soon, or maybe not. I don't. Oh. Oh. I should have known better. Sorry. Sorry if I killed all of your ears. I think I just killed my mic. Hello? Can you hear me? Yes, okay, yeah, I didn't mean to blow everyone's ears out like that. But yeah, I can create these feedback matrices that you can now hear that I have done. And so that's gonna go back to, I'm just gonna stop this. Stop. And stop. Okay. So yeah, so that's the, you know, weird wooden synths and other things, granular looping on this side. So that leaves us with the Octatrack and stuff, the Octatrack and the Analog 4. So we haven't really talked about that, but it is a major part of the way I perform. Right now, you're not hearing anything from it. I could go to one of these tracks and hear some sounds from the Analog 4, sounds from the bass department. Okay, and I haven't actually created any patterns for the Analog 4 yet. I'm still kind of writing my new material, but I do have some other things, like something that I sampled from those pedal board synths. Let's see what we got. There we go. And this is on the Octatrack. I just triggered it with one of the sample trigs, and so it'll keep looping until I hold track and press stop, and then it'll stop that sample from playing back. You know, I typically use patterns a lot, which makes it really easy to do really dynamic changes. But I also use the sample trigs to just, throw some things in there, kind of randomly. I'll get that going again. And just like on the Zoya, I can change the length of the loop and the start point. Change the pitch. And the rate. A lot I can do with that. And so it's a lot of fun to just play with the parameters for the sampler itself. But I'll typically do, set up a lot of those things as scenes, which get assigned to one of these two buttons, and which I can then fade between using the crossfader. So for example, again, right now I think I've got the low pass filter, so I can, do filter sweeps. I can change tempo. I can, if I assign repeats to a couple of different buttons, I'll just hold the scene button with the fader in that position and just kind of tap at them, and that way I can do like sample retrigs and things like that. Lots of fun things that you can do with scenes in the Octatrack that allow you to do, interesting transitions and stuff that are easy to reproduce, because that's always the thing is, is this going to work? Is it going to go on time? Is it going to do what I need it to do? And using scenes, makes it's like a macro in a soft synth or something like that. So what else have we got in here? So I'll switch to a different pattern. Some drums. So I've been just trying to live loop myself, and I am clearly forgetting how I have this project set up because it is not doing it. Let's see here. Input B. Let's go into input B. Okay. Trig for that, so okay. So now you can hear what I thought I hadn't recorded, but I actually did successfully record. Some playing from the SID racks into the Octatrack really quick. And so once again, just like I did with the other channel, I can play around with pitch. And the rate of that sample's playback. I can play around with some effects. Lots of fun stuff. Is this controlling anything here? No. Anyway, so yeah, so Octatrack is a place where I can store my samples, record new samples, and I can also use it to, in essence, control what's going on the analog floor. It's sending clock to the analog floor. It's also changing patterns on the analog floor, so you can now hear a sound coming from the analog floor that's a pattern that was just triggered from the Octatrack. And and it's like, oh man, I just listening to this, not to toot my own horn, I don't want it to be an egotistical thing. It's just like some very simple sounds and big ass reverb. It just sounds great to me, and I could just leave this going forever. So I haven't been looking at the chat, let's see. Yeah, no, thank you for all the comments, Vert. I haven't been looking at the chat much, but I thank you everybody for tuning in. So I said that I was going to talk about MIDI before, and we all love talking about MIDI, right? Like, I mean, it's just the bee's knees. I have MIDI coming from the Octatrack going all over the place, and again, again, the Oxy MIDI controller isn't just going directly to the Zoya, it's going through this CME H12 MIDI Pro. I don't know if you can see that. It's got 6 1/8 inch TRS MIDI inputs and outputs, but it also has 6 USB host ports, so you can connect USB MIDI controllers directly to it, and then have that data routed to the TRS MIDI outputs, and then eventually to DIN MIDI. So there's clock messages that go to a MIDI to CV converter that's behind this panel that is generating clock here. There's clock that goes from the Octatrack into the analog 4. There's clock that goes into the analog heat, and then the MIDI through goes out to this eventide delay that is the main delay send that I use. It's also sending MIDI clock and other messages to Zoya, and then the MIDI controller can send messages to everywhere else, and it just makes it so that that's essentially the timing master of everything, and this becomes kind of the control center for my performance. But then again, like I was saying earlier, these are all just stations, and they can all be used independently, or they can be used as part of Voltron, and it's a lot of fun no matter how I get into it. There's always sources of inspiration and fun here. So yeah, I probably have run out of things to talk about, and it's almost been an hour at this point. Jeez, you guys have been letting me talk for this long? Seriously? Do you have any questions from the chat? The latency is not going to help me. Okay, I don't think that we have any questions. I enjoyed talking about my synthesizers with you. I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about synthesizers. And I will be doing this again soon. The next Patching at 3 a.m. is going to be a kind of free-form jam session. We're going to have a kind of grill cookout at my house, and people are going to come over, and we're going to play with synthesizers. My friend from LA Synth Club, Caesar Gustavissimo, he suggested that since it's Bob Moog's birthday on May 23rd, that perhaps we should do a Moog-themed jam session, and I am totally down for that. So, my LA Synth Club friends in the LA area, if you want to come hang out and play with Moog synthesizers, bring your Moog synthesizers, that would be a lot of fun, I think. So, so the next Patching at 3 a.m. is going to be on May 23rd. I have my performance the next day at Old Town Pub Electronic Music Night on May 24th, and other fun events throughout the month are our monthly open mic night that happens on Thursdays at the Lincoln Beer Company in Burbank. I don't remember. That's the fourth Thursday of every month, so I don't know what the actual date is this month. And then on the first Monday of every month, which will be next Monday, We have our Common Space Brewery in Hawthorne monthly get together where we show off synthesizers and play around, and we have people come and talk to us about different subjects related to music technology and the music industry. I think there's going to be a conversation about sampling and clearance of samples this month, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, once again, had fun patching synthesizers with you. Hope that we can do it again soon. Talk to you later.